Hey, Doug, about a week off between games here. How important is that just for your team, kind of where it is right now, and what's maybe been the main focus?
It's almost like football. You can't control your bye week, and so you make the best of what you've been given. But it,
Recording in progress.
if I could, up to this point, this is the perfect time for something like this to happen, to get our legs back a little bit, and then also fine tune some things that we found out in the first three games of things that we can get better at, whether it be spacing on offense, and just defensive communication. But we have information. So rather than just talking in vague terms when you're practicing all the time and you haven't been beat, you haven't been giving up some offensive rebounds, you haven't done those things, you do them in practice, but sometimes players can just think, well, it's just practice. But when the lights are on, it matters a little bit more. So sometimes the teaching is a little bit better, or they can hear it a little bit better, and it's a natural thing for any team as they go through the course of a season to start paying a little more attention to those details because they understand like how crucial they are.
And just a real quick follow up: do you expect Rakia Jackson kind of back in the mix for Monday?
Yes, yeah, that was just kind of precautionary. Everything was fine with her. All the tests came back great. She practiced well yesterday. She's good to go.
Stefan, go ahead.
Kind of going back to what you said, in terms of having this week to reevaluate things, how much have you seen maybe just in the short sample size from game one to game three, your team grow and kind of learn to play together with this new staff?
Uh, I just think the distractions, the noise is starting to lessen. So whether it be outside noise, noise inside their head, so they're able to teach each other a little bit better than they were last week. The conversations they have on the sidelines are basketball related, in terms of how to get better. I think their ability to pay attention, they can do it longer than what they could. Now it's nowhere near what it would have to be, and as these games keep on coming up on us, and some bigger and better teams that we're going to be facing, it's going to be tough. But that ability to communicate and fight through something and speak logically about it, as opposed to just rah stuff only works for so long. And so I think their basketball IQ is really growing right now.
Andy, go ahead.
Hey, Doug, you mentioned some of the things in the first three games, I guess, that you wanted to kind of improve on. Maybe rebounding is among those. I don't know. Like, what things did you kind of point out that you specifically focused on this week in practice?
Uh, I think one thing that we haven't been able to show yet that that is there, it's sitting there for us, is post play. And we've been able to get Jerkele in the post a little bit and Rakia a little bit. And we're not even talking about our three centers that we rotate in there. But those guard matchups inside in the post, even Maya and Annie and some of them, they're really good and crafty in there. And it's not just for their scoring, but it's for those inside out threes, and then the ability to pass out of it. So it's not good enough just to space. We space to perfection when that ball's around the rim, and then somebody might be in line with you. Your defender might be in line there, and you've got to be able to make a second cut. So not only does the person on the perimeter have to make a second cut, but the passer needs to know how to deliver that pass. And so one of the big things for us is that we don't want to lob pass. We don't want to throw passes around people. We want to throw direct passes. If you can't throw a direct pass to perfection, then your teammate's going to second cut to a different spot, and then you need to know how to deliver that in a straight line direct pass. So it might be a bounce pass, which a lot of people haven't thrown that since 1955, but it's a really good pass when it's inside out. It's not just a Princeton style where you're throwing back doors from top down. Sometimes it's when you're inside and you can kick that thing out with a bounce pass. So just little things like that.
Stefan, go ahead.
I saw some players already posting on their social medias trying to get Danae Carter, some freshman of the year, attention. Obviously, it's early on, but what's kind of made her stand out, as a young player to kind of get these minutes already?
Yeah, she is fun to coach, and as you know, a freshman coming in, and again, male game, female game, high school, it doesn't really matter. I mean, she is in a new environment, and so if you're lacking a skill somewhere, you got to make it up with something else until you acquire it. Her work ethic and motor and anticipation and being a great teammate allows for her to maybe make a few mistakes on the offensive end every now and then, but she sees the game so well. She has such a good heart. Her intent is so good, is that it's buying her time as her game is growing as a, let's say, a skilled offensive player, and she's pretty good right now. But that other part is so good, and we need it so much. And again, she's pretty flexible. She has a lot of variety to her game, and she's going to be a fun one to watch grow. And fast muscle twitch fiber goes a long way. And her length, I don't exactly know how tall she is, but she's longer than what she appears. And so it looks like you can throw some passes around her or over her, and those arms just expand, and she has really good timing and gets tips, and then it leads to some fast break points. And she's a really nice finisher for her size. She's kind of slight, but her length allows her to finish some quick finishes from Maya and Annie, the good guards, just little dump offs.
Andy, go ahead.
Hey, just with Jakayla Jordan, another kind of newcomer. Obviously, she was good at Tulane last year, but what has kind of impressed you through 3 games, just with what she's able to do on the offensive end, inside and out?
Yeah, the most impressive thing is absolutely no ego, and I know this is early, and I hate to throw this stuff out, but she's one of the all-time great teammates I've been around or coached. And you watch her on the sidelines in practice. If she's not in, I mean, she is jumping up and down if we make a great play, or if one of her teammate makes a great play. She could go a whole segment without taking a shot and be completely satisfied. She's just constantly observing. She's a great noticer of things in terms of what does the team need. They need an offensive rebound, I'll go get it. They need a post up, she'll go do it. Make the extra pass. So when you have a really talented person without an agenda other than trying to play great basketball, her teammates love playing with her. I love coaching her because of that. And she doesn't have a lot of noise in her head in terms of distractions, which is allowing her to grow at an extremely fast rate.
Stefan, go ahead.
What have you kind of seen from BethuneCookman and what they bring into this matchup?
They're fast, athletic. They take some shots that you may not anticipate coming. Maybe not the type of shots that we would want to take, but it creates some crazy rebounding situations. And you just have to respect this game, respect the game itself. And so our mindset coming in, that Alcorn game got a little bit tricky in that first half, and I don't think it was because we didn't respect the game, but the amount of energy it takes to win. Winning in college basketball is extremely hard, regardless of who you play. So I think they're relentless. I think they're tough. I think they're very competitive. Size-wise, I think there's nobody out there that's like, we can't keep them off the boards. We can't do this. No, we're in good shape with that if we have the right intensity. But they're going to come in and give us their best shot for sure.
Just to follow up there, I mean, there's been upsets on the men's and women's side all over the country, this early slate of the season. I mean, is that something you guys kind of talk about at all and say, hey, this happened to, this team over there, and it could easily happen to us too if we don't pay attention?
Yeah, I don't. I'm sure it gets passed around in the locker room, or somebody may say it at some point in time. I try to stay away from any type of comparisons game. Our message just is respect this game. And this is a privilege that I'm able to coach it. It's a privilege that you're able to play it. and respect all the people that played this before you and that's going to play after you, and you don't have that many opportunities to play a game in college. And so, if the standard is us, and the standard is to play great basketball for us, we want to play the greatest basketball that this team could ever play. Us, nobody else. I don't care about anybody else. I want us. And so the more we can keep our focus on us and not listen to outside noise and think about records and those kinds of things, all that stuff is fluid, stuff we don't have control over. But we do have control over, how we pass the ball, how we catch the ball, how we work our feet, and how we communicate on that defensive side.
Andy, we'll wrap things up with you.
Yeah, kind of on a similar note as that. I mean, when you have an extended kind of practice time as this, I mean, how quickly do you, I guess, how much do you focus just on yourself? And I guess how quickly do you kind of turn the page to, hey, let's scout BethuneCookman a little bit? Or is it mostly just yourself at this point?
I mean, it's mostly just ourselves. And again, we hope that what we're doing in our defensive drills is universal in terms of it's going to help defend Michigan. It's going to help defend against BethuneCookman and those types of things. But I played in a league where we'd play 3 games a week, and it was just, we'd play like 3 straight weeks like that. And I'd hear the other coaches say, all we're doing is scouting. We have no time to work on ourselves. And I said, yeah, that's tough. And I'd kind of laugh a little bit. I was thankful that they didn't have time to work on themselves, because I thought all we were doing, we had more time to work on ourselves. And then we knew who the shooters were, we knew who the drivers were. To me, that was secondary compared to growing players. And so it's very rare that you have this much time. I mean, I haven't had this in years where you could play 3 games and then have some time to work on what you've seen. So, it's a little bit of a blessing for me. Like I said, you can't control the bye week, but maybe if this happened 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, I'd say this is the best time. But this has been perfect for us to try to fine-tune some things and maybe get some people healthy too.
So last question for Canner. I'll call it a day.
Coach, you just mentioned you now get some time to go back and look at this team. And we talked earlier this year about this wide open offense and this wide motion. Is there anything about that you may look to change going forward?
It's fluid. It's always, there's always tinkering done within it. The things that would make any offense work. I mean, those are non-negotiable. We're always going to pass to the first man. But we have markers down on the floor, and they might think they're close to the marker or good enough. It's not. It makes all the difference in the world to get all the way down there to give that player with the ball a little bit more room. So it's more about getting better at what we already have, and that can showcase some things that haven't been evident yet. For instance, a guard post-up game. So it's there, but nobody has seen it. We haven't, other than in practice in a few isolated spots, we've been able to do it. But, that's something that needs to grow. And certain things will appear. That's why you want to have flexibility and variety, so that as players grow, there's space for them to grow into. If you're pretty tight, in terms of a system, and systems are more for coaches than players, but if you're tight with that, then as their game grows, they need you to make all the calls to accommodate their growth. If you have a flexible style of play, it's always there for them, and when their skills dictate that they can go in there and make some plays, it's there. If they never develop that part of it, it's okay. There's other things that you can do within the game, but so I guess just getting better at what we do, more comfortable at what we do, and then be able to utilize the space that we've given them, and grow into, who knows what they're going to grow into. If you believe in development, I can't tell you what they're going to grow into. I just watch and we'll manipulate some, but I don't know. I believe in the development, I believe in the growth, but I can't. If I didn't believe in it, I would tell you, Rakia Jackson's going to look like this in 2 months. Well, I believe in myself. I don't believe in development. I've got to have the trust to watch it and let her grow. She may grow a different way than I thought. Annie may grow a different way. It's just the foundation that is so important, because you can't grow with a strong foundation. without a strong foundation.
All right, thanks, Coach. Thanks, everybody.